Well, here we go again. It's that time of the year when we bring you the Monday Night Football season predictions, it being our first M&F of this brand new season. And it means we put Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher on the spot yet again. I think we declared it just about honours even in the predictions last year, which is probably being generous to you both. So let's start with the obvious one. Who's going to win the league this year? Jamie?
Man City.
And Gary?
Arsenal.
OK. You said the same last year.
I did.
What makes you convinced, again, that they can pip City to the top spot?
I mean, my reasoning last year was the coming off the back of the treble for City, thinking that that might have an impact on them at certain points in the season, the demands, the expectation, maybe the injuries, the games they played, but the unbelievable to do what they did. I think they won the last 9 games, didn't they? Which is just special. And Arsenal had the most incredible season, so I wasn't a million miles away. They're just getting better.
Points away. Yeah,
they're getting nearer, and I don't know. I feel they'll do it. I feel they'll do it at a certain point. And look, you can never write. He could 100% be right because of what Pep Guardiola does. He wins all the time, but I feel that Arsenal are getting so close and they're so consistent. That this could be the year.
Are you becoming less certain about Manchester City?
No. I mean, they go to Chelsea yesterday. I mean, whatever we talk about Chelsea, it's still Stamford Bridge. They've still got big name players. Going away from home, I always think on the first game of the season, it's difficult no matter where you go. Even if you think of Liverpool going to Ipswich, how tough that first half was. So to go away and win with these, without some of your best players. I mean, John Stones is not playing, Rodri's not playing, Foden comes off the bench.
Do you think they'll sign players? With Alvarez going, obviously they've lost Mahrez and Gundogan.
Listen, they might bring one in. My only thing is not so much City. We know what City are going to do. They're going to get round 90-odd points. Can Arsenal get there again? Maybe they can. Something that's interesting with Arsenal, I read a stat about it, Arsenal. No team in Premier League history has improved their positional points 5 years in a row. I think Arsenal's done it 4 years in a row. To go again and get even more than what they've got, I think is a tough, not a tough ask.
But is that what it's going to take? To get beyond 90 points?
Take that. And my point on Arsenal is, where I look at it and where I still think City is, that Arsenal are obviously one of the top teams in the country. But in the last couple of years when they've gone for the league, I think I'm right in saying that they've gone out of the domestic cups quite early and haven't got to like a final or a semi-final in Europe. And I think this group of players are good enough to they should be getting to the semis of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and attacking all the competitions the way Man City do and Liverpool did in the past under Jurgen Klopp. Because I don't think it's acceptable now for a team this good not to win a trophy this season. I'm
not sure I'm in agreement with that. Do you not see the similarities between the journey that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool went on, where they felt like they were just getting there and eventually they got them? Do you not feel like there's a little bit of that same sort of...
Yeah, but my point being is, though, Liverpool was still attacking. Liverpool won the Champions League before they won the league.
Look, forget the trophy bit. I'm talking about the league
Yeah,
journey.
I get that, but the point I'm trying to make is City is still going like further in competitions. Arsenal should be doing that, and I think that will take a little bit out of them than maybe what we see in the league.
Could you see, Gary, Arsenal doing something spectacular, like Liverpool did, ultimately, getting beyond 90, 95 points even?
Well, so Liverpool, to win the league, Liverpool, in the first 27 games before it stopped for COVID, won 26 and drew 1. That's what it took to stop Man City and Pep Guardiola winning the league. You know, they're the standards.
Arsenal are getting to such a high level now of consistency, defensive stability, the way in which the balance of the team, they look like they've got a great spirit.
Any buts there?
There's always injuries to the, I suppose, key players, but that's the same for City. Always injuries is the one thing I would say. Last season they were pretty stable all the way through, as City were as well.
All right, let's move it on to second to fourth, and I believe there's been a late change this evening.
By who?
Not you.
What's happened?
Do you know something? You know, this is supposed to be a sort of like an unannounced private sort of ballot. You know what I mean? Where does this sort of leak of information come from, Dave?
Well, my producer.
You've gone for Chelsea.
So you've got a great squad. Chelsea.
You've absolutely tore the back out of them in the first hour.
No, I did not.
So
I actually said I thought they could have a good season. I'm saying there's some bizarre things that happen.
There's actually quite a lot to deal with in this. Because so we're going out.
I think there's actually a lot to deal with on his side, actually.
But let me just talk about the fourth place one first, because I'm giving away secrets here. Gary had Spurs in there.
You've changed just on tonight.
True or false?
No, do you know what I changed? I wasn't sure earlier on today, to be honest with you,
You
about
picked Spurs.
I wasn't sure, though.
Go on.
And I think, well, I said, look, Tottenham, I hope Tottenham finish fourth. I think they play great football. What I would say is that when the subs came on tonight, I thought that could be a problem for them in the sense of just the strength in depth that I think Ange talked about before the game himself, referring back to last season. And look, Chelsea could easily have be an absolute mess because they could be.
Who's got the better squad, Chelsea or Spurs?
I think Chelsea, the players that Chelsea have got.
Would you concede that, Jamie, that Chelsea have got a better squad than Tottenham?
If you put them on paper, well, they have to because they've got 40 odd players. But would they have a togetherness? Would they have a connection with the manager that with Postecoglou? I'm not quite sure. I think. Well, I've said
it's a gamble.
I think Spurs will get in there.
It's a gamble.
Can I just ask you something? You know, if Jamie Vardy's header goes over the bar, you'd still put Tottenham in the top 4, then, wouldn't you?
No, it wasn't that. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that really. It was more the fact that I think that they look quite vulnerable.
How can you justify Liverpool not being in the top 4? So Chelsea, we're calling Chelsea a basket case at the start of the show, and you've put them in the top 4 ahead of Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Liverpool. My view would be that the impact of Klopp will take its toll. Just going off evidence of history, that's it. Evidence of history of a manager like that leaving at some point. I think there'll be some pain this season for Liverpool, and it could cost them.
Jamie, when you see the progress that Manchester United are making off the field. Why would you not have them in your top 4?
What do you mean off the field in terms of signings?
In terms of the structure, the executive team from new owner downwards.
Listen, they've made some big mistakes in the past, Man United, in terms of buying older players from some of the big clubs. You think of Varane and Casemiro. Casemiro's still at the club, but they're buying younger players now. But let's not make out this is revolutionary. Matt Busby and Bill Shankly were doing that in the 60s. Anyone who buys a player want to buy a younger player and make him grow and make him a better player. It's not something special that United are doing right now and should be lauded for. It's just doing probably what most 99% of football teams are doing. You buy a young player with potential, you try and get the most out of him. I just don't sort of... No, I think they'll just miss out. I think they'll compete for it. I just think Tottenham have got the sort of... I'll have the edge over them.
We're sat here very calm and relaxed at this point in the season. There's no one sort of like... But are you a little bit concerned by the fact that Liverpool haven't got a player in?
No, there's areas of the team or the squad which I think we need strength, and that's obvious. But I love the fact, not just now, and even in the past, we don't panic. And I really admire that about the club. About not, when I see the situation with Chelsea, and it's just left, right, and centre players coming and going, it scares me that I'd never want it to be like that.
I agree with you completely, 100%. There's only that thing that when not panicking. Is there an element of, is the money there? Is the money there to support Slot? If there were players available, if there was a £70 million player, if there was a £100 million, would it be there? Would it be there for me? I don't know. I'm asking the question.
Listen, this is an age-old argument even between Liverpool supporters. Liverpool bid 100 million for Caicedo last season. So if he wanted to come to Liverpool, Liverpool would have spent 100 million, probably the most expensive, along with Declan Rice, central midfield player, around 110 million they bid. So the money was there. They bid 50 million for Zubimendi. So if the player is there who they want, they'll spend.
But a tit for tat in fifth place for Jamie and Gary's predictions, because one's gone for Manchester United and one's gone for Liverpool. Gary, just before we leave Man United and Liverpool behind, which areas of the team do you think are Manchester United superior to Liverpool?
I wouldn't say they're superior in respect of sort of like a particular area. I think Liverpool have got a better team than Manchester United.
You've got them 2 places higher.
So if Liverpool have got a better team, you think Man United got a better squad?
I think Manchester United have got... Liverpool have got far better forwards. That is the thing that they do have. I think in midfield, if I look at Manchester United's midfield players, if you add, I think, equal coaches, and we don't know what Erik ten Hag and Arne Slot are going to sort of match up like, I do think Liverpool with they've got Endo, Szoboszlai and McAllister, they've done unbelievably well to get the performance levels out of those three that they have, Jurgen Klopp. I really do question that midfield is going to stand up throughout the season. If it does again, take my hat off to them. Well done, unbelievable, prove me wrong. I think Manchester United have got more in midfield. I think they've got more depth, and they've got good players in there.
That was Manchester United's biggest problem last year, midfield. The hole in the middle of the pitch.
It was the structure of the midfield. Kobe Mainoo's coming into that now alongside Casemiro. Fernandes is in there. Mason Mount's in there. McTominay's in there. They've got 5 players in there that I think...
How many are you going to play? Just name 6 players there.
They've got more depth in there.
I started something there. Let's finish off the top 6 and see what you've plumped for. We don't find Chelsea in Jamie's top 6. We don't find Aston Villa in Gary's top 6, but you tipped them last season for top 6. They finished obviously top 4. So what's changed for you?
I just purely think I always think Champions League first season back for a club like Aston Villa, the emotional toll it takes on people, the mentality, it just drains you completely to the ground. And we've seen it many times before. They have added to the squad. They have got a serious manager who knows how to do this. And I actually love Villa. I thought they were brilliant on Saturday. So the game on Saturday, I'm doing Aston Villa v Arsenal, will be an absolutely brilliant game. But I just feel like that sometimes that Champions League takes its toll.
I mean, the reason I've put them there, they finished obviously higher last season. I think it'd be difficult. I don't think we've ever seen a team outside the so-called top 6 ever get into the Champions League and then get in again the next season. I think it'd be massive if Villa could sort of get in there again. I think it'd be really big. But what I would want to say is the reason I've still put them up there in European positions is the manager. Because we said this last season, and now Klopp's left. There's probably only Pep Guardiola who's a better manager than Unai Emery, or a better CV. All these younger managers coming in, foreign managers, they haven't won the Europa Leagues like he's done.
So Gary's got Chelsea 4th. Where in your mind would Chelsea be then? If they're not top 6?
You think they're finishing 7th or 8th?
Obviously, if I haven't put them in the top 6.
No, but you genuinely believe that? Lower. No, but you finished 6th last season. They're a basket case. What, do you not think they're going to be better this season?
No, I don't think so. I think they made a big mistake.
Why not?
Well, getting rid of the manager, Pochettino. It was a big mistake. We know he's a top manager, great experience. Maresca is a young manager. He's really inexperienced. And I think to throw him in here now, I think it's a really tough job. So I can't see them finishing in the top. I think, listen, they'll be battling out for the European places. I think Newcastle will be there as well with Aston Villa. I just think Aston Villa will get it.
Look, if he's right, it will be hot.
It's going to be an interesting story.
It will be very interesting around there. Yeah. I mean, you're right.
They haven't got a goalkeeper or centre forward. They've bought.
Yes.
I didn't come in on you before, but I think João Felix, whether you think he's a centre forward or not, I do think he'll play in that false 9 position with the 2 sort of higher wide players. I do think that's the way in which he'll look to play him. I don't think he'll play him wide. I don't think he'll play him as a number 10 that often, because I think Cole Palmer's got to play in there. I think he needs the 2 quicker ones, Neto and Say Nkunku here. I think he plays João Felix there, and I think he plays Palmer sort of in behind the 2 central midfield players, which means one of the 3 will have to be left out, which is Caicedo, Fernandes or Lavia.
We've asked as well for a European contender, not necessarily finishing 7th place, but someone from the pack who could emerge as a challenger to the rest. Jamie, you've gone for West Ham United, and you're sticking with that after their start against Villa?
Where do you think Newcastle finished?
Let's deal with West Ham first.
No, I think it'll be a different style of football. I don't think it'll be completely different. Maybe if the West Ham fans are sort of, having this idea that it'll be this really open, expansive. I don't think Lopetegui's that. But I think it will be a case of trying to get on the ball more, trying to get Paqueta on the ball more, Kudus as well, we saw yesterday. I mean, a bit of a disappointment to start the way they have, but they're actually recruitment this summer. I actually like some of the signings that they've made. But I'm saying a European contender. They were that under David Moyes. They won a European trophy, so, they've been there or thereabouts, but I think it might be done, obviously, in a different way. That's what they want.
So answer Gary's question then about Newcastle. Where have you got them?
9th, 10th?
8th, 9th, I don't know.
Where are Chelsea?
Why do you feel that about Newcastle?
If West Ham are 7th and Chelsea are 8th, are they 9th then, Newcastle?
Well, they might be 9th, yeah, they might be, or they might be 6th or 7th. I don't know where exactly they're going to go to, right? But, I mean, Newcastle, they're going to have to get the centre-back over the line, especially with the suspension that they've got from the weekend. I will maybe come back to it later on. I'll say a player I think they've missed, but I like Newcastle. I love Newcastle. I love Eddie Howe. I think, if it was my choice, he'd be the next England manager, but no, I think they'll just miss out on the European positions like they did this year.
OK. Let's have a look at relegation then and see if either of them have gone for a team outside those who were promoted. And yes, Gary's gone for a clean sweep of their promoted clubs. Jamie happens to think that Ipswich will stay up at the expense of Nottingham Forest. What is it about Ipswich that you like so much?
I suppose they're this season's Luton in some ways, where they've been away for so long. I think it'd be very hard to diminish their enthusiasm for being in the Premier League. I thought you could see that in the first half with Leicester here today. It's almost like we've been here. This is nothing new. We are a Premier League club. I think the energy that we saw will not be there every week at Portman Road because it was the first game. It was Liverpool, but I think even if they have that spell like all promoted clubs do, where they go sort of 5 or 6 games without a win, I don't think it'll affect them too much. It'll be like, we're delighted to be here. And I think with the manager, I think's really good, obviously. I think they might do enough. I don't want to see the 3 promoted teams go down again. I don't think it's healthy for the Championship or the Premier League, if I'm being honest. And I think Nottingham Forest have been close every season. And I think eventually the trapdoor opens.
Were you tempted to make a late change with Leicester City after the second half?
No, not at all. My fear is that the 3 teams do go down again. And my fear isn't that it's... I mean, it is getting harder. The gulf between the Championship and Premier League, I think, is getting bigger. But I also think there's an element of the Championship clubs that are coming up now are using it as a fund to actually rebuild the finances, to rebuild the stadium, to use the money actually, rather than sort of, if you like, blowing it all on the playing squad and sort of still potentially going down in a year or two. They're actually using it as a profit centre to actually put money back into the club, which I'm not saying is wrong, but that's my fear of what could be happening at this moment in time. Hopefully it's unfounded, hopefully Jamie's right, and that we get Ipswich or another one of the clubs staying up, because we do need that, but I'm not quite sure that these clubs are going to be... They're going to be busting a gut on the pitch. They're going to be busting a gut in the coaching side of things and in the training grounds with the football side of the club. But on the business side of the club, they're going to be looking at it and thinking, right, out of this year in the Premier League, we want £60 million because we're going to create a brand new stadium or a brand new something that's going to protect the club's finances for many, many years.
That's what the parachute payments are for, aren't they? To try and protect clubs. If they want them to have a go, because you've got the parachute payments if you go back down.
But they factor that back in as well. So they factor that money coming in next year as well to potentially, break even again. So clubs are using it to get on a sustainable footing and invest in things that, or even pay off debt if they've got debt, or they've got maybe sort of owners' loans or whatever it may be. So my fear is that that's what's going on now in the Premier League and the Championship, and it's almost like not being seen as how it used to be potentially.
We will see.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Top scorer, will it be Jamie Vardy? No, both have gone Haaland. We probably don't need to waste too much time on that one. So let's move on to Impact's signing.
I forgot what I did.
We'll remind you.
Changed it?
Well, there we go. Jamie's gone for Pedro Neto, his favourite club, Chelsea. And Gary's gone Solanke. So let's start with Pedro Neto. Given all you said about Chelsea, why do you expect him to make a big impact?
The reason I've chosen, because I think, but for injuries, I think this is a player that could play for the best teams in the world. I really do believe that. And he's a player who I've always watched for Wolves in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, who I've always thought, I'd love Liverpool to sign him. I just look at him, the pace of him, the quality on the ball, he scores goals, and I just hope he stays fit. He came on sub yesterday. My only sort of worry, again, it goes back to Chelsea, is like he's best on the right, cutting in on that left foot, probably where Cole Palmer likes to play as well. But I think if Chelsea could keep him fit, I think he's a special talent. I mean, he's a player I love to watch, and I actually get down a little bit when I hear he's injured again, even though Wolves are not my team. So yeah, I'd love to see him stay fit, because I think he's one of the top players in the Premier League when he's fit. Yeah,
let's hope he does stay fit for his sake, certainly. We've talked a lot, Gary, about Solanke tonight, so let's move on to player to watch this season. Jamie's gone Minter, who had a really good debut for Brighton, and you've gone for Jurrien Timber, Gary. Talk us through that one. Yeah,
just last season, obviously, I was looking forward to him coming to Arsenal and sort of adding defensive stability to their squad, and obviously they did that anyway without him. But I think the fact that he's been out for so long, just be interesting to see. Arsenal obviously haven't made a lot of additions to the squad this year, so he feels like a new addition. I'd just like to see him play and see how he fits in.
And Minter really caught your eye, didn't he, this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot about him over the summer or towards the end of last season, about him coming back to Newcastle. They obviously moved him on because of the financial situation. But when I look at what Newcastle have got on that right side, Jacob Murphy's done a brilliant job for the last few years. Almiron, I think, is a player they were trying to move on to the MLS, I think, a couple of weeks ago, whether he'll stay or not. But that lad, certainly what I saw at times on sort of little bits, highlights last season, what he did against Everton at the weekend, I think that's one that Newcastle are going to really rue in the years to come. Certainly what I saw there, 45 minutes, he was fantastic at Goodison, and he looks the real deal.
All right, let's finish with the manager to watch then. Gary's gone for most of them.
I'm really decisive in certain parts of my life. No, just I can't separate them because I think
There's a story with each of them.
There is a story with each of these three that, in terms of, I think it's high stakes for the three of them, in different ways. Obviously, Ten Hag at the end of last season, what happened, and then winning the FA Cup. A lot of fans, all of us thought that he would be gone, but he's there, and he's got obviously a renewed sort of hope. The fact that they've obviously invested quite a few players, it looks like the squad's stronger. There's a feeling that's a little bit better, but he has to deliver. Slot taking over from Klopp and how that's going to go, just purely because of the fact that he was one of the greatest managers we've ever had in the Premier League, and to step into those shoes has not gone well before when it's happened. So that is, I think, why the eyes are on him. And then Maresca, I just think we've talked about it so much. I mean, you know, very young in his managerial career, coaching career, to have to cope with what was going on at Chelsea, the noise at Chelsea, the sort of amount of players, the balance of the team, the youth of the squad. No, it's a big job for him to navigate. So I think those three, I couldn't separate them, to be fair. And I think the title of that section was something like Ones to Watch, and then it changed to Manager to Watch because he did something different. That's why I saw.
No, there was just a little bit of confusion because some people were saying players and some people were saying managers, so we decided to separate the two out because I think there are talking points around both.
I must have been on a phone call.
You went for Andoni Iraola last year, Bournemouth, who was certainly super impressive with them. I think you were going to go with the Brighton manager. What's his name again?
I know, I'll have to I'll nail that by the time we come next on.
Fabian Herzler, you decided against that because you weren't sure how to say his surname, so you're stuck with Slot. What could he do? What's the best possible thing he could deliver for Liverpool this season?
Listen, I don't think Liverpool supporters are looking at Arne Slot and expecting sort of, you know, the world in the first season. I think everyone realises what Gary just mentioned, the situation he's coming into. I think Liverpool almost replicating what they did last season. I think will please most Liverpool supporters, making sure they're back in the Champions League, winning a trophy.
That would be unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I think it would be unbelievable. I mean, I thought Klopp last season, what he got out of those players, you said it at times, we said at times, the way in which they were at 100 miles an hour, you felt they weren't playing that well, but they were getting the results. Yeah. They were in the title race until about 4 weeks to go.
I don't think Liverpool getting in the top four is unbelievable.
No, but where they were at that point in the season.
I'm not saying they're going to challenge for the title. I think it'll be... Last season it was a 3, wasn't it, going for the title, and then the other teams were fighting for the top 4. I envisage that'll be Arsenal and City going for the title, and Liverpool might be part of maybe 2 or 3 teams going for those 2 positions in the top 4 slots for Champions League. But, I mean, what I would say is I was really impressed with a couple of things from the weekend. Liverpool beat a promoted team. Let's not get carried away. I was really impressed with how decisive he was at half-time. And, you know, I like a manager who identifies a problem and just deals with it. So, OK, you felt there was a problem there early, brings on Karate, fixes that. And when I was watching Liverpool playing out from the back, we highlighted a little bit on the clips earlier. But it was that one that we've all played in those games. It's a dry pitch, you're trying to play into midfield, the opposition are on top here, it's a promoted team, the sun's out. And I'm thinking, sometimes I worry when I hear a manager sometimes say, we're going to keep doing the same thing no matter what. I liked what he said, where he'd come out after the game and he sort of said, you don't need to keep playing short passes in those situations, go a little bit longer. And then we highlighted it on the clips, didn't we, where the back four was more spread out, there was more space, they made the pitch bigger. So there was a couple of little things that sort of stood out for me that I thought, OK, you know, I like the look of that. But as I say, it's a long way to go. It won't be easy following in Jurgen Klopp. But he is the total opposite, because I think at one stage, I think at the end of the game, the crowd were sort of chanting his name and he sort of shied away from that. Whereas Jurgen's different, is he's fist pumping. You know, he's going to be... But I like the fact that he's almost come in and been his own man. He's played his own way. He's made that change at half-time. He's not getting involved in things that Jurgen did, maybe on the touchline or with the supporters. He's going to do it his way.
I don't know the answers. When did Klopp actually start the fist pumping with the fans and the sort of like the connection piece? When was he? Was that very early on, was it?
Yeah, I think very early on. There was a game against West Brom that's always sort of laughed at a little bit on social media, where it was actually a 2-2 draw, but he got the fans in front of the players in front of the Kop and was no, Jurgen's that was he was himself, wasn't he, all the way through.
Woke up to the sound of the morning light. Another day, another chance to fight. I've been running on this road for so long, chasing dreams that keep me holding on. Every step, every breath, I feel the fire in my heart. I know I'm climbing higher. Even when the night seems cold and dark, I'll keep shining, I'll ignite the spark. I'm chasing dreams, flying high through the clouds, touching the sky. Nothing's gonna hold me down. I'm breaking free, I'm breaking out. I'm chasing dreams,